So I fly through MOAs regularly without any like care or concern. But you're telling me it's dangerous, huh?
If you believe that all those fighters or whatever aircraft are operating out there have situational awareness of you, that you're mistaken. In an F-16, we're doing a low SAT mission, which is low surface attack. So we're fighting our way into drop bombs. We're going all the way down to 500 feet. As I came off target, I make a right-hand turn, probably 400 knots, and I pass a Cessna 182 directly above me that I could see the oil on the cowling of the airplane. It scared the out of me, and we were both very legal to be there. But if I'd have been 10 feet higher, I'd have hit him, and if I'd been 20 feet higher, I'd have put so much wake turbulence over them that they'd have been out of control, and that would have been the end of them.
All right, Trent's gonna roll. I'll go down a little bit, try not to dust you.
I don't think it's gonna get much more dirty.
So I'm aiming for the bushiest two green trees here, and then the green area right after it's where I'm touching down. Beautiful, boys. Must shut down. Carl likes to go long, I like it.
And good morning, guys. We just wrapped up High Sierra. Some of the boys are still in town, so figured might as well give them the tour of some of the other side of things. We're gonna check out this creek right now. Might have kokanee salmon running in it. This is the time of year that they come up to spawn, so we're gonna go check that out. Funny thing, both of these guys that I'm flying with right now are fighter pilots. I'm the newbie guy here. So you guys are gonna recognize Steve, Clear Direct. Make sure you subscribe to his channel if you aren't already. And Carl, you guys are both fighters that also have big tire planes, which is cool. And we've never even really had the fighter pilot talk.
No.
So this is a good time to do it. I mean, Steve, you flew F-15s, yeah?
That's right.
And retired now.
Yes, actually tomorrow will be 5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're active.
Correct, yep, reserve technically, yep. And I'm just getting ready to do my Finny flight on Friday of the F-35, which is kind of surreal.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun to be doing this. We can talk more about why I like this, but I'm looking forward to being done after 25 years, and I've had a good career and I can't complain at all.
Yeah, and before the 35 16s?
Correct, F-16s and then Blackhawks before that, and I was an enlisted guy before that. So I'm super lucky to be here. And
it's a trip to me. I mean, because you guys are way more qualified in every aspect than me. But it is fun getting to go. I'm like, well, I know this spot and they don't, so I can kind of show the fighter pilots their way in. One thing I will say, that every single guy that is a military or fighter pilot, like, you guys are all humble. Like, I was expecting like a lot of arrogance or like, you know, looking down on other pilots, and I've never gotten that from any fighter guy. Is that something like, is that just built into you guys? Do they teach that?
A little bit humble, approachable, credible. Kind of creed.
And that's part of our job as instructor pilots and fighter pilots in general, is to make sure that we breed that and continue that to continue.
Yeah.
That's a terrible way to say it.
There's probably
the most important
moment in time when we weren't the most humble, and I think there was a maybe after Top Gun or something, there was a course correction that we needed to come back to earth, if you will.
That's awesome. Sweet. Let's check out this river. Looks like we're a little early for the kokanee run. Normally there's just like filled with the kokanee salmon. Cool spot though, huh?
Is it like Alaska where you're just snagging them? Are they done eating?
So when I fish here, I just throw an egg pattern, and I'm fishing for trout that are sitting behind them, getting all fat and happy on the eggs. Nice. So, but yes, if you do catch one, you literally are just snagging. It's like a flossing thing. Just like, yeah, they're not eating. They're pretty lockjaw. Yeah. But nice spot, huh?
Beautiful.
You've been here before. You've been here in my plane.
It's the first time I get to be in your airplane.
Yeah.
The boat with the fog.
Oh yeah, hard to beat that. Random question. So you guys, you both flew GA before military?
Yes.
And then when did you get into big tire stuff? What got you into that?
Well, watching you on YouTube and all the other friends, and what big rocks and long props, those videos from
Greg Miller
back in the day.
Yeah.
And the first tailwheel airplane I ever got to fly was a F-16 buddy of mine, whose father had an ancient Super Cub, and I had never flown tailwheel anything, but I flew tailwheel helicopters. So he's like, all right, man, I'll take you up. We'll go figure this out and see if you can do this. And within about 5 minutes, he's like, I'm getting out of the airplane now. It's all yours. So I flew that thing for quite a while, and they actually found me this one from a family friend of theirs. So I immediately put big tires on it, put some proper suspension on it, and this is the first time I've really gotten to enjoy it and use the things that I own. Yeah, absolutely do the thing.
But you've done some off-airport work.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm like, because you fly that thing nice, and I don't know if that just comes with being a fighter pilot. But
it doesn't hurt. But yeah, Brazos, rock, rock bars, sandbars, lots of stuff in Phoenix. It's all dirt though, that's not hard to do. A little bit of terrain to mess with, but nothing like this. I mean, this is like Mecca for these things, so it's really cool to be here.
I didn't have any big tire experience, I didn't even have a tail wheel endorsement before I knew that I wanted to be doing this with you guys. And because setting the fighter aside, you have a lot more time. We're both airline guys as well, so that doesn't really, I don't know, not to speak for you, but didn't really scratch the freedom itch, you know? And me personally, I got into experimental aviation because just at a young age, that's why I'm a pilot. A neighbor was building a Lancer in his garage, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I want to do someday. And then I thought I was going to do a composite Lancer or Velocity or something, but man, the big tire stuff is it brings so much more to the table as far as accessibility. Like, I wouldn't be here in a Lancer right now, right? So after I retired, I got my tail wheel endorsement, Kit Fox's out in Idaho, and then started building, and literally I got my 10 hours and it's a little bit of backcountry training. But the first time, I took about a 2-year break. First time I flew tail wheel again was to test fly the bogey, as we call it.
That's awesome.
And then ever since, it's just been, like I say, crawl, walk, run, and I'm starting to walk / jog a little bit with the stole drag yesterday. That was so fun. Or 2 days ago.
Yeah. Side note, I've been watching you grow into this space. Full transparency, similar to the way that I did it. When I started with my Kit Fox with the standard wing and smaller tires and spring gear, like, I did it the hard way. You're doing it the hard way. And you're flying with Cub guys, and that plane's super capable, but when it comes to sheer short field performance, you have to work twice as hard as I do at any given spot. So you've been doing good, dude.
Thanks. Well, you know, thanks to you, we got VGs on there, and then underneath the tail. So those things really helped, and of course upgrading to bush wheels.
I think I told you 3 things.
Yeah, bush wheels, VGs, and a prop. Oh, done. Kato prop.
I know.
Doing so
you
good
did all
on that
3
thing.
of those, and then all of a sudden it was like night and day.
I don't know if I would have landed here without, you know, those 3 things. So.
Yeah. And then you just went the right route. You're like, I'm getting a Super Cub.
I did. I had some good mentors that said, you're into this. And honestly, like, between fighters and big airplanes and small airplanes, this is the most fun flying I do, period. No question.
More so than fighters?
Not even close. This is the most fun because it's just go do what you want to go do. Not brief for 3 hours, not mission plan, do all the things.
Debrief for 10 hours.
Which is wonderful, and it's great. That's why we're the best fighter pilots in the world. That's as humble as I'll not be right there.
And the Air Force
that's
goes.
right. And then,
were you weren't Air Force?
I was Air Force because we collectively as the Air Force are the best fighter pilot. Not like us too.
Go ahead and put some comments in the section there for the Navy guys. Can't wait to hear about that. But yeah, this is by far the most fun thing I do.
And as far as the skills translation goes, a jet's completely different. Until you get into the backside of the power curve, energy management, using the rudder, that's when we start getting into some of the backcountry stuff that did translate well for me. So if you're just a straight jet jockey, you know, if you're trying to translate that directly into backcountry, it doesn't. Until you get, like I said, into a slow speed dogfight where you're trying to pirouette with rudder or inside throttle with you know, his guy is a single engine guy, F-16s, F-35s. I had a little bit of an advantage in the fact that I could pull inside engine on F-15 and use some asymmetric thrust to get that tail around. But again, that's not talking bush stuff, but you do have to know energy management and your aircraft in the fighter world, and that's where it translates great here.
Agreed.
And I mean, it's a very stabilized approach, high delta or angle of attack landing in a fighter, right?
It is,
coming in,
somewhere
so
between 11 and 15 degrees, depending on which fighter you fly.
Yeah.
And in the fighter, you know, this is admin. Landing point A to point B is admin. Being a fighter pilot is all about the mission, dogfighting, getting bombs on time, on target, and doing all that stuff. The takeoff and landing is, like it should be, the easiest part. So if you start struggling with that, you're gonna start struggling in a fighter real quick.
Yeah.
So that's also the difference is knowing that the landing is, and you know, and traversing the terrain and stuff, that's where the mission is back here. That's a difference too.
It's funny, Carl, how you say you enjoy this more. Give me this answer. If you had the opportunity to land your Super Cub like on the coolest mountaintop ever, or go land a fighter on an aircraft carrier, which one would you do?
Well, there's a reason I'm not in the Navy or in the Marines. Not that I don't love you guys. I think it would be really cool to land on a carrier one time and, you know, check that box. And those guys do that on a regular basis. And I said box. but they do that on a regular basis. And that's amazing aviation. I mean, it's unbelievable compared to what we do. We've got, you know, an 8,000 foot strip, maybe 12 with a cable when things go wrong, and that's an EP. They run those things all day, every day, and that's how they.
Procedure.
Yeah, emergency procedure.
Yeah, I'm like,
so my acronym translator is right here, which is wonderful. But this is by far, I would much rather go fly the Cub and do these things and get to experience the area versus doing that.
The cool thing is it's more affordable too. Fuel burn wise, I don't know what to do.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but
it's
you
not
know,
10,000 gallons an hour.
But everybody, we crowdsource the jet fuel with the taxpayers, so we don't have to fork that out.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks. So this is out of our pockets, of course.
Back to what Steve was talking about with the rudder and use of your feet. Kind of not common knowledge, but a fighter, most of the time during administration, you don't even have to have your feet on the pedals. It's not required. You're not doing that at all.
Really?
The jet trims itself. No matter, it's got, the 2 airplanes that I flew have there's no flap lever. You had a flap lever, I believe, in the Eagle.
Yep.
So it makes you really lazy as far as the things that we're talking about. So I think that's why it makes it the most fun for me.
Yeah.
Is to come out here and get back to the roots of stick and rudder flying. And it's instantly gratifying if you do well, or
humbling.
or very humbling. Like if you saw me bounce here, which I was like, man, I haven't bounced in probably 2 years, but here we are, you know, right in front of my friends on camera. It's cool.
I didn't even see the bounce.
Oh, good. So you know what? We can cut that out.
Well, you guys want to head over to the next one over? Keep flying?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Boys are all good?
Tail comes up so fast.
And I'm trimmed back too. If I go forward, that thing comes up like scary fast. Okay, so this one's kind of funny to try to see where you touch down. It can be a little bit difficult, but basically if you see the creek here, we're landing just south of it, and I think we normally like to live right in that like tan colored area. It's not yellow, but there's a tan streak that's just up from the green. But I might have to do a low pass or two just to check it out before then.
The fish just kicked up, Trent.
A fish jumped.
Me just kicked up.
Oh, that's funny. And there is a rock cairn on the right that you're kind of aiming for, or I mean, you're putting under your right wing. That's kind of the mark of your touchdown zone. If you can, just hopefully I'll leave a track and you can just land right on my tracks. Yeah, it comes up quick coming over those trees. Yeah, my heading was great. You can roll another 600 feet, and I think my tracks are pretty prevalent, yeah?
I don't see it from here, but I saw where you landed.
Kind of a fun one, huh?
I like that turning final. That's nice. Like,
Yeah.
I'm almost touching down my right wheel as I'm
Yeah.
bringing down the left.
Isn't it kind of cool to think, like, my first off-air airport landing ever on small tires with an 80 horse Kit Fox.
Yeah.
With Haley on board and like full fuel was here.
Oh my gosh.
Quinn just like, I ran into him at the Truckee airport and he's like, let's go for a flight. And he comes and lands here and he starts talking me through it. I do a few passes and Haley's like, I'm gonna throw up, you need to land. So I came in and man, it was like, it was game on.
So this is all Haley's fault?
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you can imagine on small tires on a Kit Fox with no power and, you know, 2 people, it was a lot.
Let me guess, you followed him tight and hit his wake turbulence and made her even more sick.
Yeah, and that was right next to those trees. Like my freaking wing was 10 feet off the trees and it was like, I don't like that. Should we have breakfast? Haley made us breakfast sandwiches.
I can eat.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Haley.
Look at this. Homemade breakfast sandwich with Megan's homemade sourdough. Probably don't say this enough, but I have the best wife out there. I just don't like bragging about it, but Haley is freaking incredible. For everything she puts up with, but also for feeding us all so well. I'm pretty sure the only reason anyone goes fishing with me is because Haley makes the best sandwiches in the world. While we're on this beautiful nature walk, got a question for you guys.
All right.
So is there any times that your fighter pilot training shows up and like helps with this kind of flying?
Absolutely. I would say until you get within probably 100 feet of something, it's kind of slow motion, is what I feel. I don't know how you feel about it. Landing at 175 knots or somewhere around 150 at all times, you become used to that. Flying around at 350 is kind of normal cruise.
Yeah.
400 for rejoins, and you just get used to that speed. On a low level, for example, down to 300 feet, you're good all the way to 540 knots.
Damn.
So we're doing 450 on a regular basis, and you get so accustomed to that when you come and do this, it kind of slows things down a little bit.
A lot of it.
Yes, but
Hold on now.
Like, let's be honest. Like once you get a little bit, when you're within 50 feet of these trees, like it's exactly the same.
Yeah, there's pucker.
Yep.
And I'd say that, especially when flying with groups, that I think helps because you're used to keeping track of who's who in the zoo and where people are, as well as watching terrain. So when somebody's screwing it up, you're kind of one added little, okay, hey, let's not do that. And because if it's just a swarm and you're not sure where anybody is, that's just you're either gonna not worry about it and that ups the chance of a mid-air collision, or you're over worried about it and now you're not focusing on your backcountry landing.
Agreed. I would highly, just like you do a really nice job, Trent, of briefing like what we're about to do, which is kind of our entire former life. And that needs to continue. And people need to stay in order. And you need to, whoever's running the show needs to run the show, which definitely adds to your plate. But as soon as that breaks down, bad things are going to happen, highlights are going to occur, and the worst parts of aviation start to happen. Yeah. So as long as we continue to do that, and then debrief when we're done as well, how'd we do? Like even for 5 minutes over a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah. It's totally funny that like I never make any active like thought to brief or debrief. I'm just like, if I'm going in somewhere, the information I would have liked to know going into it, I'm like, let's just tell them. And then the flight in, that's kind of how we do it. And then the debrief we don't do unless something kind of goes abnormal. Someone screws up a landing.
More than you think.
Yeah, really?
You do it more than you think. Like,
probably
it was crazy. Did you feel that bump? Like, that's all debriefing. Yeah.
Man, I guess you're right. At the same time, is there any stuff you learned in fighter pilot training that absolutely just has nothing to do with this, that doesn't help at all?
Flying supersonic.
You do that one time in that thing.
Launching AMRAAMs at...
in the bozosphere at the range, that we can't talk. There's plenty of classified stuff that we'd love to tell cool stories about, but that'll just go to the grave with us, unfortunately. But we know.
I would say most of the flying, once you're in the airspace, we can talk MOA stuff here later on, that is not applicable.
Oh yeah?
Not at all. It's very foreign. The tactics, Karen, what you talked about before, that's what we do. That's 99% of what we talk about. Yeah. And you spend your whole life there studying volumes and volumes and volumes of information just to be remotely good at it. So these administrative things that we're doing right now, just like you said, is not even something we cover for more than 5 minutes in a 50-minute brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you spend so much time as a young fighter pilot learning your own aircraft, and then as a young graduating to mid fighter pilot, you're becoming an expert on the SC-27, SC-35.
Sure.
So you're the threats and the SAMs. So you don't just know your own aircraft, you have to know everything else that's trying to kill you. Now, I mean, there is applicability because there are things out here that are trying to kill you. So if you look at that I think you can draw a parallel to dang near everything. But there is, the technology and links and the weapons that doesn't apply.
So talking about data links, just like ADSB, which we run quite a bit. I don't know if you find yourself with a false sense of security, if you will, of knowing what you're thinking, where you know that folks are. Yep. Same thing happens in fighter aviation. As soon as that thing starts to drop off a little bit, your hairs on the back of your neck better stand up. Or if you knew where somebody was and they're not there anymore, that you as number one need to know this is a problem. What are we going to do with this information? How do we get everybody back? How do we get people communicating? And then back doing the thing.
And then here's a question for you guys. Yeah. If you could take one piece of technology out of your fighter jet and bring it into your bush plane, what would it be?
An afterburner?
That would be nice on takeoff. I don't know that it would be good on the grass. You need to have a bigger fire extinguisher.
Maybe IR camera.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. I'd love to see that in action.
Yep. Yeah, I have that.
A little bit more reliable on the data link side would be really nice. Just knowing all the time where everybody is.
Yeah, and
information
honestly,
exists. You just don't.
How about an ejection seat? You want one of those?
I mean, it's kind of cool. Makes you a couple inches shorter. It is nice to have that false sense or actual sense of security. But
second motor.
Second engine, yeah, that'd be good. He doesn't know anything about that.
No.
Well, I did in that 38, that little guy.
Yeah. We called his second engine the ejection seat.
Okay, what's more challenging then? Going back to the airspace thing with all that complex MOA airspace and stuff, navigating that or finding a new spot to land, like say in Alaska or up here?
I'll let you know when I decide to do that, because so far I've just been following people in, like shopping and being the first to discover a spot.
Oh, you've not prospected.
I have not prospected. So that's the
next thing the next notch in your belt.
For sure.
Yeah.
That gets my attention, and that would be on par with some of the more intense stuff that we do. Is you're in bad guy land. You don't know what's about to happen. You can brief and be prepared as you can. You can scope it out, shop it out, but who knows if there's a hidden boulder in there? Who knows if there's a SAM site waiting behind that hill waiting to pop you?
Yeah, to answer the question, I don't know. I think they're probably very similar in risk and reward. Having good checklists, having good ways to sort through the data that you do know and can see, and the amount of recce passes you can take before you need to have to commit to go in, especially where there's no out.
Yeah.
That's not something we do on a regular basis, I guess. Maybe in F-35 a little bit, but we always plan to get out, I hope. It's kind of part of the deal.
That's it. Going back to your previous question about like what would you bring from the fighter or the community, is actually the training and the contracts, the things that we don't need to say to each other, but we know we both understand.
That's just foundational through your guys' training. Yeah,
right. And so when you show up to a new group of guys going flying, you might know a little bit about the guy, but you don't know how they fly or how they act on the radio or how they act in adverse situations. So even more reason to brief and get to know the person a little bit before, and there's going to be guys that roll their eyes like, oh, it's just flying, what could go wrong? But a lot can go wrong.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a funny thing you bring up. I've been doing this now for 10 years, and pretty much all my flying's been in the backcountry and this kind of stuff. And then through the YouTube channel, that's grown way bigger than I thought it would. I forget that there are people that are really excited to fly with me, and they want to prove themselves. And it's like that Kodak courage, and I hate to say it, but I've filmed many people wrecking their airplanes. I've learned that if I have a brief ahead of time, you look for what you just said. People that kind of roll their eyes, I don't need this, and it's like pretty quickly I'm like, if I even fly with that guy, I'm watching him the whole time, my head's on a swivel, but he's a liability. Yeah. Lately, my brief has been, if you're flying with me, like if I wreck my plane, it's gonna end up on the internet. If you wreck your plane while you're with me, it's gonna end up on the internet. And so that kind of helps people realize, like, I don't hide stuff, you're not. Yeah. Because every single one of them, it's been like, hey, don't put that out there. And it's like, there's such a learning moment through every failure or every mistake. People are robbing the rest of the community of that when we don't share our stories. So,
and the more you fly with each other, you're gonna get there. And so there doesn't always need to be a long brief. But even today,
you guys
we fired up, we're on fingers. Okay, who's doing this? Okay, blast. And it was there, but it was short. And so we get to build that.
And it's good too, you guys know that I've already had this talk, like there's never any pressure. Right. You're not comfortable with where we're landing, like carry on, don't ever push into anything. And so I love that I don't have to have that discussion with you guys, so.
Right. I mean, I think in the military side of the house and the airline side of the house as well, when things start to go wrong or something bad happens or an incident or accident, we get the information almost immediately. And we all learn from it to the point where we have all of the data, all of the video, all of the audio. That's something, if we don't share what happened, if your accident or whatever didn't make it to the internet, well, how do we learn as pilots other than maybe go make that same mistake ourselves, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like that's avoidable and it shouldn't happen. And I understand it's an embarrassing thing to do, just like we saw the other day. But and you rescued those folks, which is wonderful. I'm sure you're going to talk about that. But
I wasn't. But I can. If you're at High Sierra, there was a point where I was asked, hey, do you know this certain location? We got a bent up airplane. Everyone was fine. Went and got him. And it was unfortunate too, because the guy is awesome. And he's like, Trent, I'm only out here because of you. And that just hurts, because I'm like, no, it's kind of like I feel guilty. But what you're saying 100%, I have learned so much from other people's experiences. And it's funny because experience is a great teacher. The problem is the lesson comes after the test. But if you can learn, other people get tested, they learn their lesson, you can learn it too, and that's where experience comes in. You can learn from others' experiences. So when we see people that have an accident and wreck their plane and their ego hurts, but then they aren't willing to share that story, it's like you're just discounting everyone else, because that's probably an honest mistake that any of us could make. And if you can just talk about it and put it out there, we can be aware and hopefully not make that mistake.
That's part of what me being a newcomer to this world, I don't know the culture quite yet. And so when I'm vlogging at a place, do I say the name of the place? Like, is it private, and worry about ruining it for other people? But I think you've got a different perspective that it only advances backcountry aviation.
I think it does. We've got there's definitely an age gap and disparity of folks that used to do this based on probably cost, on what 180s and 185s used to cost versus, or what that Super Cub used to cost versus what it costs now.
Yeah.
The more people we can get doing this, I think the better, as long as we are respectful of the way that we do it and making the place better after you show up and leave. You know, if you find trash, obviously pick it up, just basics that we can do. Be respectful of the area, the noise. I know it sounds lame, but in order for us to be able to do this, we have to be able to take care of the things we're doing.
Yeah, and that's the funny one, because what you're talking about, you said this just a minute ago off camera, there's some people that don't like people like me or Steve that are putting this stuff out on the internet because it's like, oh, we're gonna ruin it for everyone by putting it out there too much. And what you said about sharing spots, there are places, like when I was in Alaska, they're like, don't say the name of this. I don't have that mentality. A lot of this stuff is like, for one, if you shouldn't be landing there, don't land there. Because some of it was like, yeah, I don't know if this is legal. I'm like, well, then don't land there. Like, that's a big part of it. The people that are out landing on private property or wilderness areas when you're not supposed to, like, you're the problem. Don't do that. I'm of the same mentality. Like, the more you use it, the more of a community we have to kind of, you know, reinforce and back it. I know there was the Bears Ears Monument over in Utah. BLM was kind of recategorizing everything, and the way that they were going to do it was going to shut down a whole bunch of airstrips. And so the Utah Backcountry Pilots Association reached out and said, hey, can you help us spread the word? We did a couple social media posts. We shut down the BLM's website because so many people reached out. And with that, from my understanding, we protected those strips, so they're still there. So there is some bit of this too, and especially in Idaho. If we don't use it, we lose it. There's strips that they count how many landings and they assess if it's a feasible strip and if it's worth continuing to put their, you know, money that comes from the Idaho Aviation Association. Like, they spend donation money to go and keep those up, but if people don't use them, they're not going to do it. So it's a weird dynamic, because I definitely don't want to spoil it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you're not a part of the IAA, you should be. It's a good one. Interesting talk. That has nothing to do with fighter pilots.
Good talk.
This video is going to be so wordy, it's going to be like a podcast, but that's fine. Sometimes you need that. So hopefully you guys are just having like a morning coffee, or maybe you're just bored at work and you just want someone to listen to and pretend like you're talking to. I'll be interested to see the comments on this too, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of insight. This is a lot of stuff I don't talk about normally. So I fly through MOAs regularly without any like care or concern.
Yep, which is absolutely legal.
It's legal, but you're telling me it's dangerous, huh?
I would say if you believe that all those fighters or whatever aircraft are operating out there have situational awareness of you, that you're mistaken. They do a nice job radar-wise. Center does a nice job of helping us just at least locate the traffic, and we'll try to raise the floor or set a bubble of which altitude we won't go below, or a geographic location we can go within. But it massively impacts our training.
Disrupts it. Yep.
10 to 15 aircraft, and we're talking millions of dollars an hour if you really get into the math. Okay, millions a little much. Hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour to go do this mission, and it may be ineffective based on you trying to go to point A to point B when you could be 2,000 feet lower. And I know it's a couple extra gallons of gas. I'm sorry.
And there's some MOAs that have control.
Absolutely.
You know, in East Oregon, the Juniper Heart MOA has shadow control. I think there's somebody, I can't remember their name right now, in Idaho and Utah, but you can call them up and see if it's active right now.
We have them out in Nevada, I just never call them.
Yeah, and you can call them, and you absolutely can go through it, but just beware that we might not see you. If we do see you, we're putting a bubble around you, and it's going to disrupt the training that we're doing.
And here's a real world story if we have time for story time.
Yeah.
I'm in the Brady MOA, just to the west of Fort Hood, Texas. I'm in an F-16. We're doing a low SAT mission, which is low surface attack, so we're fighting our way into drop bombs with a couple of Red Air out there. We're going all the way down to 500 feet, which obviously is where we like to operate. Completely legal for folks to be there. As I came off target, I make a right-hand turn, probably 400 knots, and I pass a Cessna 182 directly above me that I could see the oil on the cowling of the airplane.
Oh.
And you imagine how loud that was for them? But me, full AB, turning 450 knots, and it scared the whatever out of me. I won't say the words on camera, but you can imagine that was a seat cleaning event afterwards, because I thought I killed those folks. And we were both very, very legal to be there. Just a big sky theory, this just happened. We knocked it off immediately, which means we stopped the fight, got everybody out of the way, made sure that they were safe. But if I'd have been 10 feet higher, I'd have hit them. And if I'd been 20 feet higher, I'd have put so much wake turbulence over them that they'd have been out of control, and that would have been the end of them.
But Carl, you have an air-to-air radar. Why can't you see them?
Well, that air-to-air radar in that airplane doesn't work over here. So it's limited field of view, and then there's some some things there that you have to do, but
That-
on
and-
a small airplane like that,
You're on a sniper pod maybe
Correct.
at that moment, right?
you're not seeing those airplanes anyway. Even an F-35, they're depending on what you're squawking and some things, we can see you regularly, but it does drop. It's not always perfect. It's close, Lucky. You're doing a good job, but it's close.
Oh man, that's wild. All right, let's go flying. That's gonna be me soon. I want to be on floats landing right there right now.
All right, boys, Trent's gonna roll.
Are your boys following you?
Yeah, I can delay if you want to land.
Well, I'm on float, so, you know, it won't be a factor. I'm off your 9 o'clock taking off.
All right, I'm gonna cross behind you, Sloan. We're gonna take northwest up and be departing northbound.
Sounds good. We'll see. I'm going to the other side.
Sounds good, have fun.
You take care, buddy.
You too. So I got a question for you too. What's the bush flying equivalent of a dogfight?
I might say BFMing, if you will, the wire that you're trying to land on and doing a thing, making the airplane do what you needed to safely get to the Earth.
What's BFM?
Basic fighter maneuvers, the actual thing that you're talking about is how we would describe dogfighting, 1v1.
And so what's the bush flying equivalent?
You could draw whatever approach path that you want to your landing zone. You're going to fly exactly that and kind of make sure that you're doing those things. So if you're able to make your airplane do the thing that you want it to do, that is what I would grade myself on as far as fighting something else.
Gotcha.
We got 3 fundamentals of dogfighting. You got lose sight, lose the fight. So like if you lose sight of the terrain or your wingman or something, that's not good, right?
Oh yeah.
Trade nose position for energy. It's all about energy management. And then the last one is maneuver in relation to the bandit. So you could maneuver in relation to each other, or the airfield, or the terrain, or the weather, if you will.
Gotcha, yeah, that makes total sense. It's funny because I think it's pretty obvious that there's a lot that, backcountry or bush pilots could learn from fighter pilots. Do you think there's much that you guys could learn from bush pilots?
Absolutely, for sure. Oh my gosh, it's too long for this video, but just one example is just shopping fields. Even if you've been there before, do a flyover, check the winds, check the moisture content, check the wildlife. I wouldn't have any idea about any of that.
Oh yeah.
Also, not having 50,000 pounds of excess thrust is a significant game changer to how you plan your maybe your approach and landing.
Yes. That must be nice having that, but yeah, we don't have that. Okay, we'll go ahead and land at Merrick's. Merrick's is pretty fun. Pretty wide. The only thing is you got to thread between a couple trees to get in there, so it's definitely good to kind of understand what your approach is and how you're getting into there. I'm just trying to get my eyes on it first. So I'd be on a right base right now. And then you just end up picking what 2 trees you want to go between. There's a tighter one, there's a wider one, set of trees that is. If you go through the wider set, you got to just make more of a right turn as you're rolling into final. If you go through the tighter one, you're more aligned. But basically this pond in front of me, the threshold for the runway is like 80 feet past it. So we just come in between the trees, over the pond, and then you'll see the strip, plenty big, plenty long. Super easy. It's a fun one to taxi back and check out the pond. It's filled with bass. I think Merrick's home too. So I'm gonna come in behind you. So just make sure I should have plenty of room behind you. Normally, I don't eat up much space, but maybe if you just tuck off to the side just for a hot sec.
Yeah, I'm off to the left.
Cool, thanks.
Kind of fun little spot, huh? Feels tight on the way in, huh? Cool. Threading the needle a little.
That's cool. It's a really neat spot. Beautiful. Nice and smooth.
It's my buddy Merrick's place. This is private, so you have to have permission to land here. I'm good buddies with him, so we're good to go. Beautiful spot, and there's this little pond just filled with bass. He should leave a rod out here. That's what he needs to do. Merrick, if you watch this, just leave a little old ghetto fishing pole with a spoon on it so we can catch some fish. Well, it's been a beautiful day. Steve, though, has to get going. You got to get down to Jackson, California, return the RV to Papa Cato, who was super nice for letting you borrow that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Papa Cato, you're the man. So this is it for us, man.
Yeah.
This is a solid one.
Yeah.
Great work. Stole drag.
Thank you.
First time ever.
I know.
Killed it.
Rookie.
And you're going to make a little video about your little thing?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
You learned a lesson that wasn't an expensive lesson.
No, all things considered. My mission objective was to not hurt myself or anybody else, not bend up the airplane. We had a brake issue, didn't bend up the airplane, and then have fun doing it. So all 3 mission success.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Well,
thank
fly
you.
safe.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Back and
see you soon, buddy.
See you, man.
All right. You guys take care.
All right, see ya. Made it back home safe. Steve took off. Dude, that was a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
Thank you for chatting fighter pilot stuff with me.
Of course.
And so we're all safe and sound. Steve's heading back to California, like we mentioned. We're gonna clean some planes because these things, I don't know if you can tell, but it is filthy. Probably scratched my paint by doing that. Shouldn't do that. Don't do that. No, I'm not gonna do that to your airplane either. But anyway, before I wrap this up, I wanna take a second to give a huge shout out and thank you to my friends over at Squarespace for sponsoring yet another video. And it's sponsors like Squarespace that make it possible for me to put out as much content that I try to make decent quality as I can. So thank you to them, and anyone that's unaware, Squarespace is the ultimate way to build a website and run your business. You can start with one of their award-winning templates and craft it into your own beautiful, professional-looking website. Or you can harness the power of AI using their new Design AI and design a website from scratch. Again, zero experience necessary. Takes like 5 minutes. It's super easy. It'll even help you like auto-populate all the stuff like your About Me. You can have it help you generate the content so you don't have to type every single part up. And they have features for every industry. So whether you want to run an online store, their point of sale is great. They accept every major payment platform through Squarespace Payments. You can book and schedule clients through their Acuity scheduling. Honestly, there isn't anything you can't do with the Squarespace website. If you haven't yet, head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to purchase, make sure you use code Trent Palmer at checkout. Get you 10% off. Thank you again, Squarespace, for sponsoring this one. Thank you guys for sticking around. And you know the drill. Like this video if you do. Subscribe if you haven't. Come be my wingman or our wingman. See you on the next one. Peace.
I keep looking at the county map, and I'm aware of where I'm at, where I am. It's not so bad, but lately I've been feeling that my lily pad's steady when the water's flat, but out beyond this little pond I see the